Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Investigating my SIL. Numerous people said I should post about the affair. I am a female pi actually residing in North America and born in a European country to a very small village of less than 20,000 people. My brother and I were born 9 years apart. My brother and his wife have been married for over 8.5 years. They are both in their early 30s and have no children. This happened about 4 years ago, before the pandemics. They are both working as professionals. He is a lawyer working in a well-known cabinet and she is working as a practitioner registered nurse. Both are highly successful. They have just bought their first home and she has been off birth control for 4+ months. Everything seems to be going very well. They were expecting their first baby for end of December 2016. Suddenly my brother called me on a private phone not listed and outside his work and house place. I was very shocked knowing that he would like my service to investigate his wife. I took some leave from work and flew back to my hometown, and upon arrival I went to a nearby hotel from her workplace. She was approximately 14 weeks along in her pregnancy. My brother explained to me her hospital and schooling working schedule. She is teaching nursing a few hours a week. Normally they would be home at 1900 hours and leaving at 6:30 for work. Many months back, 6 to 9, she started taking longer hours for her classes, leaving earlier maybe 3 to 4 times a week. First red flags. Now, rare intimacy and her first priorities are her friends. Second red flag. When she learned she was expecting, she cried the whole weekend. Also a red flag. Even if he was trying to discuss the crying situation, she was actually giving him the silent treatment. With his approval and permission, I started my investigation by reviewing their phone bill, bank transaction, VAR, GPS installed in their cars, phone, home camera, etc. I investigated her for 14 days without finding anything suspicious. My brother and I were discussing how to stop everything. I had an additional 15 days off, so I visited my old school friends. During a diner, a few girls were discussing a nurse possibly cheating with a friend's husband who was gone on a business trip returning the following Sunday. I actually asked the name and what type of work he was involved in. He was representing a large medical supply business and obtained his full name. To avoid suspicion I waited an hour and asked the girls if they knew the girl's name. They did not know, but they knew her nickname, identical to my sister-in-law. I had enough details to validate his return flight and travel arrangements. My brother called me, informing me SIL was happier. He was also inviting me for an at-home dinner after the next weekend. I told him that I had few points to validate in my investigation and I would call him back and request her day-to-day schedule, including sudden changes. My brother informed me immediately that she was going on a medical conference, traveling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, return on Sunday afternoon. Accordingly to her, she had to replace someone sick and she had to attend the conference. Wednesday afternoon she took the train to a larger city about 625 kilometers from home. Without my brother knowing, I was on the same train taking pictures, small videos, etc. 15 minutes before our arrival she went to the bathroom and changed clothes, put on makeup. She was all done up and prepared to meet her AP. I nearly did not recognize her. I was shocked. At the train station, the lovebirds were not hiding themselves kissing, groping, etc. They walk holding hands to a nearby expensive hotel. I modified a picture to send it to my friend to validate the cheating husband and she validated the cheater immediately, telling her I would be back with more information later for the hour. I succeeded in getting a room at the same hotel. Their names and room number were listed as do not disturb for a few days for cleaning and room service. I managed to get a room on the same floor. With the angle of the building I could see them when they were on the balcony in their bathrobe. Thursday night, I went for dinner at the hotel lobby and saw them all done up in line to be seated. He had his hand on her little bump. She was smiling ear to ear and extremely beautiful and attractive. Everyone was looking at them. The restaurant was nearly full and seated a few tables beside them. We could see each other relatively easily. We were looking at each other, but she did not recognize me, but at times she was staring at me. I was just looking at my food, phone and recording them. I do not know why she did not recognize me immediately. We never saw each other in the past 3.5 years. My hair was done up with different color and length. My dress was something that I would never wear in normal circumstances. At the end of the meal, we all took the same elevator, and a few seconds before the 5th floor and the door opened, I started to sing a melody that my brother and I used to sing together. She was looking at me and extremely confused, got out the elevator first and quickly walked immediately to my room. I took a shower to cool down and I had 3 missed calls from her. She always had my phone number. She left a message to call her back. I had enough evidence for my brother to prove her cheating business. I called my brother and gave him a rundown of the situation, and I will be on the next train back to his place. He wanted immediately some pictures/evidence to start the divorce procedure. My brother sent her pictures of them on the balcony kissing in bathrobe and the lovebirds meeting at the train station and walking holding hands to the hotel. No room for negotiation or interpretation with the pictures. The train was going back home in 90 minutes, so I packed my bags and took the train. After the train took off, I felt uneasy, like someone was looking at you. Sure enough, they were both seated 7 or 10 seats over. At times they were still kissing. I took pictures and sent them to my brother and friend. My brother, and my friend were waiting at the train station for their arrival. It was a mess. I was expecting, and about the same time that my SIL. Both of them did not say a word at the train station. My brother and I took a cab back home. Her belongings were in the process of being packed. He sent her a text informing her where they were going to be stored. STI/STD test clean. He was not the father of the unborn child, AP was. The divorce proceedings took 4 months. He divorced her on adulterer clause. 2 years later he met a fantastic woman. Still no child. Still working at the same law firm. His ex did not receive alimony because in Europe if you can prove infidelity the cheater loses everything and rights. He is not on the hook for child support. She is living in a small apartment with her daughter alone. Her AP reconciled with his wife. She contacted my brother multiple times for an open discussion to explain herself. He always declines because he believes she will never be truthful. She wanted to reconcile, but he always refused any discussion with her. His last words were to her at the train station: the divorce petition will be served next week. According to AP, the affair between EA and PA lasted for about 2 years. Did she know you were pi? You're a lifesaver. Your brother must thank you every day for what you did. She knew I was a bi. I have been a bi for almost 20 years. She was sure that no one would have followed her that far from home to consume her affair. Her behavior at the train station meeting her PA in open public demonstrated her state of mind. She was probably in the Fogg's affair. I am working for a large worldwide pie company, and transforming yourself is a day-to-day business. Close by I had reference to a nearby European office to assist me in this case. This was an easy case. All legal evidence was key in the divorce procedure. Yes, my little brother and I have always been very close. We always help each other during hardship. If you have bi in the family, just not cheat the family. Some people just don't have brains. You're a godsend. Your brother and family are very lucky to have you. I am the lucky woman to have my family. They already supported me through hardship before. It was simply my turn to serve them. I love Europe. It's more realistic. They do not have the no-fault status for divorce for adultery in many states in Europe. But in some states in America, if your lawyer does an excellent job, adulterers may have a large impact in division of assets. Wow, what a story. The app wife is crazy. Her husband has child with another woman and she say, I was informed their reconciliation took almost 2 years. They were assisted by a professional therapist to overcome their differences and problems. I learned as an experienced pi, it is very hard to judge a relationship, especially from the outside. It is not always painted with the same colors. I should hire you. What is AP? Affair partner. That was very detailed and well planned out. I'm glad you were able to keep your brother from making 2 very huge mistakes. Bless you both. I'm most happy that she lost your brother and the AP. Now she must make do as a single mom on her salary and her own income with no assistance. She served her own steaming pile of karma, and it couldn't have happened to a more deserving person. Again, well done. She is a practitioner nurse. They make an outstanding salary. She does not need any financial help to bring up the child. The daughter will miss her father figure for sure. She cannot fulfill both roles for sure. The AP got off easy. Is he paying child support for his child? Your ex-SIL lost everything though. I can say she deserves it. She lost her loving husband and she lost her AP too. Now she's alone taking care of a child. I do not know if he is paying child support. My ex-SIL as a practitioner nurse has an excellent salary and can support a child by herself easily. I will never trust anyone in public. Had I been your ex-SIL, I would have shit myself in the elevator so bad. I would too. We are suspecting that was not their first getaway. After discussing the situation with my brother, they were comfortable with each other like they were an old couple married for 10 years. The reason I sang the melody was to disturb their calmness. They were too comfortable and were registered at the hotel as husband and wife. To me, his hand on the little bump was indicating that he was the father for sure. She actually said who was the father as soon as my brother requested the paternity test. But like, how good of a pie are you? Were you lucky in that case, or are you often able to get that close to your targets? Hard question. If a pie is not capable of getting close to the target and validating the customer request, he or she will be unemployed the next day. We are not good, we are just well trained. I have a military background and advanced investigation technique training. Pi do not work with their luck, but they like to use their educated guess and approach to problem solving and resolution. Hope it helps you to understand. Definitely thanks. You should post more stories if you have them. To post cases I would need the company and customer permission. I could post this case because I did not get paid for and had the company review the written case before the posting. If not, I will lose my job and pension plan and be sued by the customer. Sorry. Legendary work. Whoa. You're a good sibling. Investigating my SIL. Numerous people said I should post about the affair. Update and final details summary. Posting my brother's story attracted so many comments from Reddit and friends. Ty for your support. It sparked many discussions within our small community and brought people to speak the truth about the affairs and AP. I will not publish name or personal information. I will not post official information to protect everyone's privacy. Here is a final detailed summary. We officially received the judicial DNA lab answer. My brother was informed of the DNA testing procedure because his name was flagged in the judicial system a few days before disclosure, and the paralegals at his office informed him immediately. He contacted me and told him everything and confirmed he was a volunteer to provide DNA for the paternity test. I was extremely and happily surprised. He was not mad at us nor at his ex-wife. Like he said, I just need the truth to plan my future. This was a very surprising statement from him. He requested a morning meeting for the DNA official disclosure. He also requested his ex-wife's presence, her ex-AP, our mother/father, her parents, and me. He did not want the child to be present during the procedure. This was an extremely emotional morning. Brother arrived first and had a private talk with the judicial representative. When we arrived, he asked us to sit according to his sitting plan. There were 3 groups of chairs and the secretary was inviting everyone by their name to enter the room and take a designated seat. They seated our family, after seated AP to the opposite of the room and my brother almost to the middle but a little bit closer to us. Every group had a few free chairs in their groups and the secretary invited our ex-SIL to take a seat without telling her where to go. Everyone was standing and she walked directly to my brother, taking his arm immediately. No hesitation. Everyone was surprised, including him, of her action. She whispered a few words to my brother and after a pause he nodded in agreement. This was the first exchange between them since their last words at the train station almost 5 years ago. She was shaking like a leaf in a windstorm. The representative took her seat and we sat down. After the basic routine law speech/procedure, she made the official lecture and he was biologically named father. During the procedure our ex-SIL asked the representative to make an allocution. She spoke for 25+ minutes covering the affairs. She actually confessed about numerous questions/answers she had during her past 4+ years of her life with her daughter. We learned nothing new, the affair was just shorter than anticipated. She was deeply remorseful and was bowling during the whole allocation. She finished by confirming she was very happy that her little girl had a father from now on. She also said she will comply with any request from her father to ease their father/daughter relationship. She looked at him saying our little girl needed her loving parents present in her daily life. It was an actual shock to me seeing my brother nodding with agreements and his legendary small corner smile was saying everything. This was a new beginning for my brother. My brother made an allocution that his goal was to share his life with his daughter the most he can. He requested a plan for introducing his daughter to his day-to-day life, financial education support and living arrangements for him and his daughter in the future. He also stated that he was extremely nervous to be a father of a little girl. The representative invited AP to make an allocation. He stood up, made an apology and he walked out. Less than a minute. The representative requested the family to exit the chamber and they had few official discussions and signed various documents. She actually refused any form of child support, alimony because she was financially stable and was at fault. Little one missed her father during those years. She enforced by signing a document that she was ready to do anything to support the relationship between the daughter/father. She also informs officially with signed documents if he wants a parallel or co-parenting she will agree with his decision if it benefits the child relationship. She also named our mother/father to be moderators in case of future dispute and be a safe place for the child. After 30 minutes she walked out alone, thanking us for our support and telling us she had to go pick up her daughter and go to feed her because it was almost 12 o'clock hours. She was going to request a cab but I offered to drive her where she wanted to go. She accepted the offer and I said we will wait a few minutes for my brother and she shyly agreed. My brother walked out with a big smile and asked everyone if they were hungry because he was offering everyone a meal at a restaurant nearby. I went to my brother telling him that I will drive an ex-SIL to pick up my niece and drive them to their home. Few seconds later, he looked at her and said that he will drive her and his daughter will join us for her first family meal. Ex-SIL shyly tried to make a comment that was not her place and my brother reminded her immediately of her statements during the hearing proceeding and invited his ex-wife to make sure my niece will be at ease with the situation. She became red and agreed extremely shyly and asked the family if she could join and we said yes. We will never know what actually happened when their daughter picked up. A 15 minutes drive turn in a 70 minutes wait for them at the restaurant. When they arrived my niece was smiling ear to ear and ran for grandma and grandpa immediately. They were hugging, kissing with a lot of happinesses. I would guess during that drive. They actually confirmed to her that my brother was her father and she actually jumped in his arms hugging and kissing. Ex-SIL was happily crying during the return trip. During the meal my niece sat on her father's lap talking to him non-stop. I am sure he never predicted such a reaction from her. After the meal he actually informed everyone to come to a meeting tomorrow at his cabinet and he will inform us what the future will look like. He informed her, he will pick up his daughter and her about 90 minutes before the meeting as she had no choice but to agree. That was a new dynamic in his behavior. He was a father taking control of his life and the safeguards of his daughter. At the meeting he informed us that he knew in advance the DNA results because they are publishing results a few days before official disclosure to validate all the legal process. When he knew he was the father, he started questioning himself what would look like with his daughter. He wanted to be capable of seeing her every day, capable of completing her school homework, reading a story before bedtime, go swimming with her, etc. etc. He also reiterated that he already lost 4 years of her upbringing. He managed to tell us that he wanted the grandparents to keep a first role in her life if they wished. Obviously our mother and father were overjoyed with those statements. He informed us that he bought a big house in the rear neighbor to our parents' house linked by their rear yards. He will open the fence and their granddaughter would be capable of going to their house safely. He also said he will move to the first floor and the ex-SIL will move in at the second floor in the above apartment. He will modify the door access between the 2 levels, their daughter would be capable to visit where and when she wanted. She will have a bedroom at both apartments. He already contacted a therapist for her to help her and both parents. Ex-SIL was bawling and we went outside to relax and she said she does not deserve such good treatment from her ex-husband. I replied that he still loves her and the child would be the foundation of their future relationship. She needs to be patient and not push on anything. She announced he slept on her sofa last night because he wanted to see his daughter when she woke up this morning. She reiterated, she could not say no to him. Apparently he made breakfast for everyone and she has the impression he took control without being a controlling freak and it felt good that someone she can trust to take care of her daughter/them. She wanted to thank me for saving her from the AP. I told her if you have eyes for my brother make sure you do not betray him again because he will crush his and your life for good. I told her I have never seen my brother so happy in years. She confirmed that she had no one since the train station. She was taking care of her daughter. She confirmed she has eyes for my brother and she does not want to mess up her daughter's relationship with his father. She had her lifelong lesson, 5 years was a very long cold night. After breakfast he invited them to his small 2-bedroom house and made her visit while he was taking a shower and getting ready for the day. I asked her what her first statement was at the hearing. She told him their daughter is actually waiting for him at a family friend place near us. Second, she asked his permission to stand beside him for the hearing. He nodded to approve her presence. He took a few days off to be with her and organize the new house. Ex-SIL had to work and teach her classes. She contacted my brother every lunch break to speak with her daughter and she proposed to buy a phone for her so that she can speak to her without disturbing my brother. His reply was, she is not at an age to have a cellular phone and I have no problem receiving call on my phone for our daughter. During the moving phase, he rented a hotel room with a large king-size bed for the 3 of them. My niece was afraid he would abandon her/them and wanted to sleep with his father and mother. A new family dynamic was installed. They are excellent parents. After few days preparing the house, both working toward the same goal, and seeing the little one always following her father and constantly asking questions. Trying answering them age appropriate was quite a challenge. Sometimes my brother stops working and starts a discussion with her to answer questions. My parents and I were laughing seeing them. My father did an opening in the fence and she visits us and brings joy by her presence. In the middle of my vacation, I had a few discussions with my ex-SIL. They have been residing in their apartment separately. They would share some meals and little one sleeps at my brother or mother place and she is comfortable with the present family dynamic. I understood the internal doors separating their apartment had been removed because their daughter had a problem opening them. She indicated numerous times my brother goes to her apartment to put the little one to sleep and read a story. After that he will sat with her and discuss their daughter. Numerous times he invited himself without announcing or being invited. At the beginning she was shocked but happily shocked seeing my brother with their daughter discussing and playing in her living room. Now she is actually comfortable and used to it and she never comments about it, and at times she has to go downstairs for her daughter while he is in the shower or busy with different cabinet business. He never closes the door on them. According to her, for the first time in her life she felt the support of his man, like she loved to say. Toward the end of my vacation, when she is back from work, she always takes a shower immediately upon arrival at home. In her old apartment, she used to relax in a bathrobe or in her nightwear. One night she did her normal routine without thinking and sat in her chair relaxing alone because the little one was sleeping at her father's place. One night he walked to her place because their daughter had some fever and wanted his ex-wife's medical opinion. He was extremely anxious about what to do. It was a very hot night and she was in some sheer nightwear that normally she will wear only to bed. When he saw her, he had some problem maintaining eye contact with her while explaining why he was requesting her help. She went immediately downstairs and she had a fever and he prepared a bath and put her in it. After proper medication and bathing, the little one's temperature was back to normal and she realized her sheer nightwear was too revealing, not properly hiding her body features by looking at her reflection in the mirror. She blushed immediately and was embarrassed. Apparently he said it was his fault and sorry, next time he will call her if he needs anything. She hesitated and confirmed that he was welcome to come and go as he wished in his own house/home. She confirmed their daughter was the only priority and her daughter will not understand why she cannot go where/who she wanted to visit. She also told him, even if we are divorced, she was always his and she will never refuse anything to him. If he needed her, she will happily accept his friendship, love and romantic gesture. End of vacation. Her parents came for a visit at the new house and were extremely happy about the living conditions for their granddaughter and daughter. At their arrival, we vacated the house for their privacy. But ex-SIL invited us and the whole family to stay for an open discussion. She explained her financial/living arrangements, and commitments she had with my brother. She indicated her only priority was the happiness of her immediate family. Her mother requested her to define immediate family. She had a pause and answered with, "My daughter, my potential boyfriend and herself." My brother had his legendary small smile and her father during the house visit asked what their sleeping arrangements were. Their faces came with some color and she answered, 2 weeks ago our daughter was sick and we shared the same bed to mend our daughter because she was the nurse. After an uncomfortable long pause and carrying on the house visit, several minutes later her father asked them if his granddaughter was often sick lately. She answered firmly to her parents, "If my boyfriend wants her in his bed, I will happily comply every night upon his request and desire." Her mother nodded in agreement and made special eye contact with her husband. I discovered ex-SIL had a strong complicity with her mother. My brother was extremely surprised by her openness and direct answer. After her answer and mother's action, no one risked additional questions on the sensitive subject. To complete the visit, she actually took my brother's hand and walked together holding his arm. That was a strong message to everyone because my brother will never let it happen if that was not previously discussed. The visit went very well and they were invited by my brother to come to visit their daughter and granddaughter as they wished. The door is always open. Her father indicated he would be extremely happy to come and visit the three of them in a loving house. They also invited the three of them to share a meal at their house later. While playing with my niece, both parents at work, she started explaining to me that she saw her mother and father kissing at night while seated in the living room. And she asked why people cry when they are happy. I told her happiness at times made the lady and man cry. She confirmed that her mother was crying after the kissing and they were holding hands when she arrived in front of them. She also confirmed mommy and daddy are always sleeping downstairs. I said, "Mommy sleep with you?" She said, "No, I just joined them in the morning when I woke up." She is a very smart young lady who sees everything. She would be a very good buy. I discussed the situation with my brother and he was uncomfortable answering some of my questions. He only confirmed they were putting their life together slowly and they were comfortable to openly inform their family about their situation, and obviously they have been physical since the night their daughter was sick. He confirmed they had extensive and serious discussion/decision making that night. He is an extremely private person. He did not disclose other information. He asked my opinion about her ex-wife. I asked him if he was in love with her, and his answer was yes immediately. I asked him, your sister's opinion or my professional opinion? He reflected for a few seconds and said both. I told him you cannot stop a person loving someone, and she is deeply in love with you, she is deeply remorseful, and she will be an excellent wife. She badly learned an harsh lesson. I professionally told him if he was planning to marry her, he needs a prenuptial to protect his daughter, financial assets and his possession. Do not marry her just for your daughter, do it because you actually love her and you forgive her faults, but do not forget them. Make sure you're not reminding her verbally that she cheated in the past. She knows her fault, stupidity, and dummy moves she did with that player. After almost 5 years, if she never had anyone, it is an excellent sign of her commitment toward your daughter, and if you feel she is having the same commitment for you, I would marry her immediately because she is ready to be your wife. Remember, action speaks louder than words. My last advice, I told him, he is the only one to decide what to do, no one should interfere with his decision. If you married her, just do small happenings for your immediate family happiness. The end. Good ending. I was waiting for an update from you but never expected this kind of ending. What surprised me the most was my brother's reaction and action. For almost 5 years he never addressed a word to her. As soon as he knew, he was the father with 3 days of reflection. He realized he could not stay in North Carolina with her because he wanted to see his daughter every day like a father should be. Soon she will be 5 years old. At the disclosure, when he saw the way she was dressed, hair done, shoe, and all done up like he loved her to be, something melted inside him and he could not push her away anymore. Today it is very clear, he was always in love with her and her always in love with him. Now the 3 of them are living in the same house. I told my mother they would not be capable of avoiding and re-establishing their emotional and physical relationship. They both told me they had a very extensive discussion and decision-making that night their daughter was sick. They went to bed together after 5:30 that morning. At 8 o'clock, he calls my mother to babysit their daughter to finish their decision-making and rest. They came for super, walking hand to hand, talking and smiling. It was very clear they had some very good time. My father stated they were looking at people they had never slept with for a few days and still smiling. She was following my brother everywhere he was going with their daughter. Looking at their daily interactions, is like a couple that has been together for many years and deeply in love. She is extremely remorseful of her past cheating behavior. She is always extremely open with him and family. Very good story. I am happy for the 3 of them. I wished them happiness. Thank you for the update. I'm really happy for your family, but especially for your niece. But in your previous post you said your brother had now married someone else. Where did she go? Edit to add, so the app thought that the girl was his child? But she is actually your brother's. How did that happen? This sounds like a story and not true life. There was nothing but happiness. No resentment, and no one was ever feeling raw emotions during the meetings. Just too much easy flow in it. Yeah, I kinda thought that this is just a story too. I am a bi. I just tried facts to my clients. My clients do not need my emotion through their emotional roller coaster. They need someone stable to inform them about the target and situation awareness of the situation. For sure the emotions were extremely thick during the hearing, and their parents visited, meeting his little girl for the first time. The night discussion and decision had many crying phase, resentment. But my brother after almost 5 years decided his daughter is priority number 1. In my birth country parents try to be very close to their children because the value of their happiness is a little bit higher than in North America. Their way of life is completely different in regards to children. I gave you an example. In my birth country, if you are identified as a father 5 years after the birth of the children, he has to pay 50% of all expenditure since he was born. That's a lot of money, but in North America the limitation is $5,000 and child support start when his/her mother makes a request through family court only or separation/divorce hearing. Yes, he had found someone. Their story lasted about 8 to 10 months. She left because he was not committing himself in the relationship. She was a very nice lady. When my brother filed for divorce and required a DNA test, AP forced on her the acknowledgement of paternity as his baby. He tried to force her to become a side piece, and the affair fog was still affecting her decision. When the affair fog completely disappeared, she tried over and over to contact my brother to inform him about his daughter. But he always maintained the North Carolina during those years. Is this all true or just a made-up story? The only changes were the age group and some timeline. The whole cheating fact started 5 years ago as described and was DNA tested 7.5 weeks ago. The hearing was 6 weeks ago. The reason for the 2 changes is to avoid curious people finding them through the legal/justice system and harassing them. So again, why did she cheat? What was her explanation? And in your original post you said your brother found someone else, and what happened to that relationship? Yes, he had found someone. Their story lasted about 8 to 10 months. She left because he was not committing himself in the relationship. She was a very nice lady. Why do people cheat? Selfish, fantasy. She was thinking she would not get caught, and he was an excellent player explaining to her how to lie to her husband. Hey, thanks for the reply. Just one more question, is App still married? No. His wife caught him with another lady in their marital bed. That was the end of the reconciliation and they divorced. Rumor were he had few side pieces. Still today when I looked at him at the hearing, he was with a very beautiful lady and he was just a very low average person. Hair not done up, not shaved, old clothing, and bad shoes in his feet. At the hearing everyone was looking at him, but the comments were not nice for / to him. But he is an outstanding player. His GF apparently questioned him extensively about my SIL testimony at the hearing. She found out his cheating behavior and rumors say that she bailed out of the relationship. I'm glad to hear that your brother isn't upset and he knows that he is the father based on your previous comments. Some cheaters continue to have multiple partners after a relationship or marriage. Your ex-SIL isn't one of them, since she focused on raising her daughter and learned her consequences. You're right that he needs prenuptial agreement and both need therapy if they want to love and trust each other again. Overall, congratulations on your brother being the father of his daughter. After a few days of reflection, he ended up with 2 options. Hate his ex-wife for life and lost half the upbringing of his daughter, or set up living conditions to give him the opportunity to raise his child on a day-to-day basis. He admitted he could not keep his game up when he saw her in her sheer nightwear. She told me that it was a hazard that he saw her. I believe her. How she can predict her daughter's sickness. When she came back from work he told her their daughter was in bed and she was staying with him the next few days because his court duty was delayed because of the pandemic. She went to bed about 1,900 hours, and at 2,230 hours she woke up asking her father for help. After he took her temperature he panicked and came to see her for help. She said, "I never thought about how I was dressed." She ran to mend their daughter. When she was on her way back to her apartment, her reflection was in the mirror and she realized the way she was dressed. Like she said, nothing was left for his imagination. Many aspects of her body were too exposed, and accordingly to my brother she took a blanket that was on the desk to cover herself, but it was too late. She explained that you could cut with a knife the air, the attractiveness, and after few seconds she explained she was his and open to any romantic gesture of his part. He did explain her few basic rules and they have to discuss of their future. She said yes and apparently dropped the blanket, and they lost control. Almost 5 years from North Carolina, she never ever dated someone. She told her sister many times that she was waiting for my brother's forgivenesses and the baby was his when the affair fog disappeared. Her sister and I are very good school friends and she confirmed all the facts. I always say once a cheater always a cheater, but for her I can confirm she has been extremely remorseful. She is still ashamed for what she did. In the last weeks she has been giving her free time to my brother and daughter. Like she says, I have 5 years to catch up. They started therapy and she actually went straight and said why they want therapy, and she never wears a white glove for her past cheating behavior. A prenup would be signed next week after the family court reviewed the documentation. Last night, I was hearing they will remarry in the next few months if they have the okay from the therapist. They have their marriage license. I was surprised to learn that my brother is pushing for the marriage, not her, but she will happily comply to marry my brother if he wants, like she said. Congrats on the news and bringing the family together after the events that took place those years ago. Now for you, be a good aunt to your niece, okay? Enjoy your new role, cool face, smiley face. Ty for the nice word and the recommendation. Yes, I will be good to my beautiful and intelligent niece. Hey, I know that you put the end, but keep us updated from time to time, like year to year, okay? Thanks. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.